So today we're going to talk about comfort versus growth and why you can't have both. So before we jump in today's show, if you have not been to my website, head over to nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com. And there you can download a copy of the very same script that my team has used to do over 1,400 real estate deals. And probably this is the most used script in, of course, well, I'd say the most successful wholesalers out there, or at least a variation of the script that this has put out. I've changed this thing over the years, and I got to tell you, there is nothing like it. My gift to you is to go to nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/script to get your free copy today. All right, so I always like to kick off the episodes with some good news. So let's go ahead and play some good news, and we'll jump into the episode.
Had a mobile notary save a deal for me yesterday. So the seller I've been talking to, the husband, I guess he hadn't talked to his wife about everything, and I didn't realize she was in on it. When the mobile notary showed up and she saw the price and the terms, she just lost it, screaming, cussing, all this stuff. And I was out away from my phone, and the mobile notary talked him down, got her to agree to my price, finally got me on the phone, and we got her calmed down, and they both signed.
So great news, Bobby. By the way, that is a perfect transition for today's show, because one of the things I've talked about is, hey, you need to get uncomfortable, right? Letting people kind of take over some parts of your business. And so Bobby actually used a mobile notary basically as a salesperson who was able to get the signature on a purchase contract instead of Bobby having to go out there himself. And I have a lot of people who give me resistance on that. And because of that, right, Bobby took a risk, he got uncomfortable, got the contract without even having to be there. So awesome job, Bobby. Thank you for sending that in. So let's talk about comfort versus growth. You know, who doesn't like comfort? Right? You're nice and you're warm and you're cozy and life is good, right? Imagine that it is in the middle of winter and you wake up at 5 a.m. and it's cold and it's dark and you're out of bed and all of a sudden your hot tub is on, right? And let's say a nice toasty 103 degrees. And you also have an ice cold pool in which you're going to jump in. Right? Well, who wouldn't want to jump into this hot tub at 5 in the morning? It's dark out and you jump in. It feels so good. And on the other hand, you've got this 50-degree pool that if you jump in, you're going to freeze, right? It's going to be uncomfortable. You're going to hate it. You're going to have all this fear getting into it. There's going to be all this hesitation and you're going to say, why? I don't need to do this, right? I don't need to jump into this cold pool. Why don't I just step foot into this nice, cozy hot tub? I mean, it just sounds so nice, right? You get into it, right? Who needs to jump into a cold pool? Well, I got to tell you, this was a challenge that I recently took on with my kids this past winter. So one of them was 10 years old, one of them was 13. And I said, listen, kids, if at 5 a.m., I'm going to set a timer on our pool and I'm going to put on the hot tub at 103 degrees. So when we wake up at 5, we're going to have this hot tub over here, or you could jump in while it's still dark out, pitch black, into our pool. And if you do this for a week straight with Dad, and you don't resist the temptation of the hot tub, okay, I'm going to give you a double hot chocolate. What that is just a regular hot chocolate, right? You pour it in, and there's 2 packets instead of 1. There's a little bit of a carrot at the end of the window. Now, of course, a double hot chocolate may not seem appealing to you, but to a 10-year-old and a 14-year-old or 13-year-old, I've got to tell you, it's pretty appealing. So we did this for a week, and I got to tell you, every single morning, I did it. I was extremely uncomfortable. My kids were uncomfortable with it. During the process, they're like, why do we have to do this? And on the 5th day, they jumped in and they actually had to stay in. I believe it was 5 minutes the last day to do it because the first day they just had to jump in and just say 30 seconds. So we extended the time they had to stay in all the way up until the last day. So long story short, we have the last day and you have to stay in 5 minutes. It was a Friday and we jumped in and, the second or third day that we did it, my kids were giving me a lot of kickback, like, I don't know, and yada, yada. I was like, come on, let's do this. So the last day, we're supposed to jump in and stay 5 minutes. And, I'm thinking, okay, we're going to jump in, do our 5 minutes. They're going to get out and then jump in the hot tub. So we get in that last day and the kids are pumped up. It's pitch black and we surpass the 5 minutes. And all of a sudden, my 10-year-old was like, let's go for 10 minutes. And I was like, all right. And so we actually stayed in the 50-degree pool for 10 minutes instead of 5. When the second or third day, they were kind of ready to quit. And so, this is going to go in perfectly to wholesaling here in a minute, but it just reminds me of this roller coaster that we go through where we decide that we want to do something that's out of our comfort zone, where we decide that we want to make more money or have a nicer house or have more freedom and have some time back. And it sounds really, really, really great. But when it's time to get up at 5 in the morning and it's dark and all of a sudden, you're in the water, are you like, hey, is this what I really want? And so we go back to default, right? Default is where we either jump in the hot tub or we don't get out of bed, or we're like, I don't need this. And we just get the covers on us and we just go back to the person who we were before. And so you can't have comfort and growth at the same time. They call them growing pains for a reason because it hurts to grow. It's uncomfortable. When you're in the process, you don't like it. And you feel like, why don't I just go back to where I was? Okay, default. And what I mean by default, it means where you were before is a killer. Unfortunately, real growth is not impossible without getting past fear, without getting across pain, without getting past a thing that I call the dark tunnel, where you're in the dark tunnel and you just can't see past the darkness, right? The obstacles, the things that everybody else won't do, okay, besides you, because you are going to grow. So I'm going to share some of the steps on growing, and this will go back to why you can't have both. So your first step in growing is to decide. You got to make the decision that you are going to grow, that you're going to get past the pain, that you're going to get past the darkness, that you understand that maybe you're going to have to do things that you didn't do before, that maybe you're going to experience feelings that you don't want to experience, okay? But if you're going to make this happen, okay, you're going to have to experience some pain. Number 2, you got to get around other people doing what you want to do, okay? Here is why. Because I see so many people out there, right? They decide they're going to do something and they get around a bunch of people who want to do what they want to do, right? They create a mastermind, quote unquote, of people who are playing at the same level that they are currently playing at. And so when they get into this mastermind, you're just starting off, you are comfortable. You are already comfortable and you've already set yourself up for failure. And so what you have to do is you need to get around a circle that when you get in that circle, you are probably the worst person in the field that you want to be in. So let's pretend like you are a wholesaler and you are doing, I don't know, $10,000 every month. And you want to be in a room of people who are doing $200,000 a month. When you get in that room, you're going to find a bunch of people who spend $30,000 or $40,000 or $50,000 a month in marketing, who have team members, who aren't going out on appointments with sellers anymore. And there's nothing wrong with that, but these people have decided to play on a different level, right? They have, an assistant working for them, and maybe you don't, right? You're running around like a chicken with your head cut off, and you are feeling painful because these people are like talking a different language. They're doing different things. They seem to be able to go on vacation when they want to go on vacation. Maybe your cell phone is blowing up all the time and you're attached to it and they're not. And now, oh boy, you are feeling out of place. Maybe you feel like a loser. Maybe you feel like you haven't done the work and they have. Maybe you feel like they are able to get past their fears and you haven't. And let me tell you, this is a good thing, because now you are experiencing pain. Because the pain of doing scary things, that's one thing, right? But if you have pain on the other side, you're around other people who are doing what you want to do, you are feeling some pain in the opposite direction, and that's going to force you to live through the pain of doing the things that you don't want to do. So that is step 2. You need to be around other people who are doing what you want to do. Not what they want to do, but they are already doing it. So drop the quote unquote masterminds of people who are at the same level as you. Get in a circle of people who are playing at a new level and are facing new devils. All right. Very important. 3, once you get in that circle, you need to do something immediately that scares you. Okay, so I've got a private client here, and he was spending a couple of grand a month in marketing. And he's like, Todd, I want to get over to $100,000 a month consistently. I said, okay, fastest way to do that is to drop $15,000 a month in marketing. He's like, I don't have it. I was like, okay. I was like, put it on a credit card, get a second job, sell something, sell a car. He's like, I got a camper I could sell. I said, great, sell the camper, take the $25,000, and wisely, okay, put it into marketing. Now, I'll tell you that I told him to put it into fastsellerleads.com, which is, by the way, my favorite form of marketing right now. What I mean by that, it's fast and you get seller leads. And so you actually bid on what you will pay per lead. Long story short, he's like, Todd, this is scary. I said, yeah, I know. I said, of course it's scary, right? You know, he's like, what if I don't do a deal? I go, that's a possibility. Right? That's where the fear comes in. If you knew that you were going to make your money back, it wouldn't be scary, right? There's a leap of faith. Long story short, this person put in, I believe it was about $4,000 a month into the platform. Month 1 was like the leads were coming in, no deals. Month 2, there was some leads coming. There was some leads that seemed like they were going to close, but hadn't. But now he had spent about $6,000. That's when the fear creeps in, right? I want to stop. You're in the dark tunnel. I need to quit. I want to go back to default. Oh, where it's nice and cozy. I don't want to spend this $3,000 or $4,000. Oh my gosh. I said, keep going. Keep going. Bust through the fear. Month 3 comes by and he's like, Todd, I'm really close to some deals. I have some deals under contract. They haven't closed yet, but I feel if I can just get over this hump, okay, then I'm going to be like unstoppable, but I'm still scared. I said, keep going. At the end of month 3, okay, this person is on the verge of his first $100,000 month. Oh, okay. By the way, like when I mean like on the verge, like closed a bunch of deals, like 25, 35, $30,000. I mean, just like night and day difference. And is absolutely killing it. Absolutely killing it, and is on a trajectory that you're not going to be able to stop. His mind is not going to be able to go back to his previous form. But if he didn't get past, by the way, this is all like a $12,000 marketing spend, right? Looking at about 90 to 100K on $12,000. I don't know about you, but I will take that every single day of the week. But it was scary. It was more than he was used to spending. He didn't know if he was going to make his money back. Month 2 or month 3, he's like, I don't know, right? All of a sudden you hang in there, boom. That's when the money comes. I had another person, different person, who decided he was going to invest in this marketing channel. I get a message on Facebook private messenger. And no offense to this person if you're listening to this, because I get it. He's like, Todd, oh my God, I paid $175 for a lead. I can't get a hold of them. I said, okay. I said, I'd spend another $3,000 to make that happen. And he's like, I don't know. I don't have the budget. And I said, I get it. I said, but you're going to have to get uncomfortable. And he's like, I don't know, but I just can't get them on the phone. Maybe I should get my money back, blah, blah, blah. I said, this marketing channel is not for you. You should not do that. I said, probably if you want to cold call and do that, go for it. Get on the phone and get sellers. But if you're not ready to get out of your comfort zone and learn how to change $1 into $5, and part of that is, scary, right? You're going to have to spend a few $1,000s to really get into the big leagues. And I said, get out of this marketing channel to that second person, not the first. All right. By the way, if you are listening to this, I love you, totally appreciate it, but I want you to understand the difference here. The first person was willing to sell a camper. Okay. The second person wanted to stay in their comfort zone. Big, big, big difference. Now imagine that person in the camper, right? Imagine that person has friends who they camp with all the time, right? And they're like, why are you selling your camper? That's crazy. You're going to invest in your stupid real estate business. And now all your friends who are living in their comfort zone are going to be like judging you. And sometimes they judge you because they don't want to see you jump ahead of them. Maybe not consciously, but subconsciously. Happens all the time. So understand that everything behind you is, going to pull you back, right? I don't know if this is worth it. Life is too short. Maybe I should enjoy my camper. This risk is too stressful. I could lose all my money. Yeah, I get it. But what are you willing to put on the line? Okay. Man, I'm loving this episode right now. I'm probably having more fun than you. Okay, so next thing, you got to get to the dark tunnel, right? There's going to be a time where you invest and you're not going to see that money come back immediately. You're going to hire somebody, you're not going to get the return right away, right? The work is too much. You're going to maybe go to hire an acquisition specialist, right? And maybe one quits and you have to hire somebody else, right? You decide to do bigger deals and all of a sudden you miss out on one that you thought that you might have lost because you went too low, right? So all of this stuff is going to affect you. Here's one thing that I promise you, and I've seen this time and time again. You're not going to like to hear it because it's painful. Whenever I've gotten to a new level, I always have to take a pay cut, a short-term pay cut in the interim. Okay, a short-term pay cut in the interim. Let me give you an example. When I moved out to California, right? I was a lifeguard on the beach that summer. I moved out here. I was scared to death. I came out here. I had no money and I was looking for a job and couldn't find it. So I pretty much made no money for 2 or 3 months. Then I got a job in the pharmaceutical industry and I was making pretty good money at a job there. I had a company car, had a good salary, had bonuses. And I was working there for 4.5 years. And all of a sudden I just felt like I needed to make a change. So from there, I went to medical devices, right? Medical devices did not have as high of a base salary, right? I moved into medical devices. That first 6 months, I made less than I was making at my previous job with a pharmaceutical company. I was scared. I didn't want to do it, but boom, all of a sudden I pretty much doubled what I was making working in devices. Well, then I decided that I wanted to be a full-time real estate investor. And I quit my job working for devices. And I can tell you that my first 3 months, 4 months of working as a full-time real estate investor, I took a massive pay cut. Short after the first 3 months, boom, my income took off. And I did not like that 3 months. My wife was looking at me like, Todd, what the hell did you just do? And I'm like, hold on. And then I had to hire people. Right? As soon as I started hiring people, look, I saw my leads and some of them didn't get closed like I would have closed them, right? I had to invest in more marketing because I needed more leads for them. And that was scary. Those first 3 months, I made less than what I was making than I was working by myself, but I did start to see my time come back to me. When I started buying mobile home parks, okay, a lot of those were deals that took a long time to get, a long time to turn around, and a long time to start to see the fruit. But I could tell you that in every single one of those situations, and you probably have all of those in your life, there's a period where you decide, where you take action, where you start to doubt what you are doing, right? Because you start to feel all the pain. You're in the water, it feels cold, or you're not making the money, or you're frustrated with a team member, or you lose a lead, or your friends start to reject you, or pull away, or mock you, or start to see your failure, and you want to go back to default so bad. But now you got to make a decision. Are you going to keep going through the dark tunnel and find your way out? Or are you going to keep going now to that next level so that now you are so high, you've broken that barrier that you cannot move backwards. I can tell you that this is something that I still struggle with today. But without growth, in my opinion, or without pain, in my opinion, there is no growth. And without growth, I don't know about you, but if you're listening to this, you're probably wired like me. Okay, there is no fulfillment. Okay, so when you get out that other side, I can tell you it's worth it. Last thing I'll say is watch out for default. Okay, you're going to have people always trying to pull you back. You're going to lose some friends. You're going to lose some routines. You're going to have people who in your family who are going to start to judge you because of the money you make. I just recently went to a wedding, and my wife and I stayed in a hotel, and I had someone make a comment about how expensive the hotel I was staying at was. And I was like, why did they do that? Because it sounds like they were uncomfortable. Okay, so I'll review. Number one, growing requires pain, doing something that scares you. You're probably going to have to take a pay cut in the short term. You're also going to leave some people behind. Okay, it's painful, but you got to do it for growth. So number one, you got to decide you're going to do it. Okay, a lot of people do that, but don't get past the next step. Okay, you got to get around other people doing what you want to do. Okay, the key word is they are already doing it. Not people who want to do what you want to do, because now you're nice and cozy. Ooh, that blanket. Oh. The hot tub is warm. The blanket is cozy, right? You're enjoying all your friends who are just giving each other high fives. That ain't the way it works. You get around those other people and you feel like a loser. And you know why that works? Because it's painful. So that's more painful than the pain of where you currently are. Number three, take an action that scares you almost immediately. 4, you got to get through that dark tunnel. You're not going to see the benefit immediately. Okay, if people saw the benefit immediately, it'd be easy. Everybody would do it, right? Everyone's going back to default. That dark tunnel usually includes a pay cut of some sort. You will get out at the other side. Okay, and lastly, watch for the default. Okay, don't go back to your old self. If you have not been to the website, get the script. Go to nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/script, and I will talk to you on the next episode.